You see, this is how you know that we live in a Luciferian world. I mean, why would she put the grapes over her eye? It's like, what kind of picture is this? Just on surface level, if you don't have an understanding of the mystery school system or any sort of connection to the understanding, you look at a picture like this and you should just ask yourself, like, why is it over her eye? Why not just hold the grapes up just in general? She's putting over her right eye because this represents the mother goddess. You have a black woman, obviously, and this is a woman line, this quarterly skincare line. So it's in veneration of the woman, or more so the mother goddess, the false god who represents Semiramis and Eve. That's what that is. That's what that is in reference to when it comes to the understanding of all the different versions of the pagan gods and goddesses, just going back to people that lived on the earth. And you see this image right here, you should look at it and ask yourself, why is this person holding it over their eye? And then you put into context other images of that left eye being highlighted, then you should ask yourself, what is this? That's where people start to gain an understanding. Certain people, they don't, because they too simple minded to the point where they can't even contextualize all these different aspects of what they're seeing when it comes to the similarities between images, where it's like the eye. You see this person covering their eye, you see that person covering their eye, you see that person covering their eye. You should put everything in context and ask yourself, what is this? There's something behind this. That's how you come to conclusions. And that's how you understand and you wake up. Certain people, they still sleep and they still don't put two and two together when it comes to things they see. This is this is like blatant when it comes to just, the element of connection to something, as far as the eye of providence, or the eye of, Hathor, which is what this is. It's a blatant connection. You can't just look at this and say this is just a regular image. Nobody takes pictures like this. I mean, the more you're seeing it, the more you can look at it and say, oh, this is normal, because a lot of people are taking pictures like this, but they're doing it because of a system in which is based in veneration, because it's like a new thing where they're trying to normalize these ways of taking pictures. And people won't say nothing, and they'll just accept it like it's just nothing, even though they don't understand that what they're seeing is something different from, a regular picture. So a lot of people just gotta wake up and understand what the hell they seeing out here, because it's everywhere. I was on a train. I said, "Yo, let me take a picture of this. This is crazy. This is obviously a Luciferian connection when it comes to this image right here." I think this was from Rihanna's Rated R album. Obviously, you can see, just as we saw with the beginning image, the same thing. And I'm sure you guys saw this before, but the reason why I wanted to highlight it is because you see it on the train station. You see a regular image of a woman just putting grapes over her face. You think nothing of it. But then you should ask yourself, after you looked at it again, why is she holding grapes over her right eye? What is that about? You know? That's why we delve into these things, because even this day, as deep as I am, or immersed as I am into the understanding, it's still things I like to cover that I covered years ago when it comes to just the rudimentary aspect of this knowledge, aside from the Bible, obviously, in regards to understanding the mystery schools, the Luciferian aspect, even the aspect of the left eye and the right eye and the sun and, Lucifer. That's all rudimentary. That's all the basics, but it's still good to, uncover the basics, because even certain people that's, outside of the understanding, they don't even know the basics. And it's not their fault. It's just we live in this world where everything is under guises and it's deceptive. So Satan goes to great lengths to deceive and, show you things in a certain way that's surreptitious. And, this is how he breaks people down. A good example is the whole goat aspect, the whole goat thing. That is just their way of getting you to venerate the Luciferian agenda. And this right here, just like I said, is another example of the system. It's a system that's in play when it comes to veneration. They venerate the pagan bodies, the celestial bodies, astrology, astronomy, the constellations, the Sirius stars, and all this stuff. They worship that. They push it heavily. Now this right here is Makami, ethereal lyricist. One of the greatest rappers of all time. Makami. He is ethereal. He is complex. He is different. He is one of the greatest. Just in terms of his delivery, his rhyme patterns, his cadence, and his style overall. And this guy is an ardent Luciferian who is a woman worshiper. Very, very knowledgeable, very articulate and intellectual brother. But he's another Luciferian. And you can see him right here letting you know what he's a part of just in regards to the veneration. The eye that's highlighted is the left. Just to perpetuate the theme in regards to the context of this video, you see the left eye being highlighted again, which is in veneration of the mother. This man, Makami, has a song called Black God, and he's talking about the woman. So this is him letting you know he's covering his bases. He is a woman worshiper. He is a supporter of the divine feminine. That's what he is. Kendrick Lamar as well. And we're going to get into the Kendrick Lamar aspect of his veneration or his worship, because it's not just the woman, it's not just the divine aspect. These people are under different levels of programming in which their altars meet veneration of the woman, or it meets veneration of the sun god, or it meets veneration of Lucifer, or it meets veneration of all these different pagan gods. That's just what it is. The Horus aspect, the Ra aspect, the woman aspect, the aspect of the horn god, so on and so forth. And sometimes they use the Most High, but that's just under a guise for what they really going into, which is the Father God, because the whole triumvirate is what they venerate. The horn god, the mother goddess, and her son, the hermaphrodite god, just in terms of the understanding of another composition being the Baphomet, in which they push, they worship as well. So as we all know, Luna being a mother goddess of the moon, because we understand the aspect of what she's associated with, just when it comes to the understanding. The moon also being in reference to wisdom and light and purity and whatnot, as well as fertility and guidance. So you have this understanding that's associated with the alma mater, the nourishing mother, with the cow, the milk, right? And that understanding is also associated with the moon god, because milk is associated with the color white, as well as the understanding of knowledge, and that's associated with the moon as well. So the whole mother goddess aspect in this society, as far as the entertainment industry, very, very predominant when it comes to certain people who go to great lengths to push it, because it manifests itself with the whole feminist agenda and women empowerment and all that stuff. So let's just get into the Temple of Luna, because it has a lot to do with what Nipsey Hussle's death was in reference to, just in terms of the understanding of the mother goddess, the moon. We already know Monday is in reference to the moon, and when you look at Monday in Latin is a lunes, so it's all interconnected, even when it comes to the language. The Temple of Luna was an ancient pagan temple dedicated to the worship of the moon goddess Luna in Rome. It was burnt during the reign of King Servius Tullius in the 6th century BC and was located on the Aventine Hill. The temple was famous for its beautiful architecture and its stunning views of the city. It was also a place of great spiritual significance, where people would go to worship Luna and seek her guidance and protection. The destruction after lightning strike. The Temple of Luna was destroyed in 396 BC by the Gauls, a Celtic tribe that sacked Rome. The Gauls, led by their chieftain Brennus, breached the city walls and rampaged through the city, destroying many of its buildings, including the Temple of Luna. The temple was never rebuilt, and its remains were eventually buried beneath the rubble of later construction projects. The destruction of the Temple of Luna marked the end of an era in Roman history, as the city never fully recovered from the devastation wrought by the Gauls. However, the memory of the temple lived on, and its legacy continued to influence Roman culture and architecture for centuries to come. The dedication of the Temple of Luna was celebrated on March 31st. Now we understand that Nipsey Hussle's death was on March 31st. So that's another key factor in proving and substantiating that Nipsey Hussle was sacrificed to the false goddess known as Luna, or the pagan goddess known as Luna. He was sacrificed to the mother goddess, the quote unquote mother goddess. That's what it was. When it comes to the entertainment industry, they get power from the left hand. So these pagan gods, they demand real blood. When it comes to Baal, Molech, you know, Dionysus, Luna, Demeter, so on and so forth. Demeter is another version of Luna as well. So March 31st was a sacred day in the Roman calendar, and the Temple of Luna was the center of the celebrations. So Nipsey Hussle's death, just based off of how we covered the different angles of leading up to his demise when it comes to different connections in regards to the horse, the white horse that you saw, the images, the numbers associated with him in regards to his death, where, you know, he got shot 6 times. He died on March 31st. He was 33. We know 33 represents in regards to the understanding of illumination, enlightenment, where the fire is inside you and you're purified, and you ascend to the celestial sphere, just in regards to the understanding esoterically. Same thing with Kobe Bryant in 2020. And these events happened a year apart, right? So very, very interesting. Just when it comes to the overall connection to the esoteric, ideology, it's kind of like the same event in regards to Nipsey Hussle and Kobe Bryant, you know, both having to do with fire and purification. So overall connection to Nip, Selene and Endymion are figures from Greek mythology. Yeah, Selene being the moon goddess. Selene is just another composition of Luna, or another name for Luna, the moon goddess. Selene is the goddess of the moon, and Endymion is her mortal lover. In mythology, Selene fell in love with Endymion and asked Zeus to grant him immortality so they could be together forever. Zeus agreed, but Endymion was placed into a deep sleep, and Selene would visit him every night to gaze upon his beauty. In the context of Nipsey Hussle's alleged sacrifice, Selene and Endymion represent the moon goddess' power over life and death. So the reason why I wanted to add alleged in there, we already know that that's necessary. But we understand that these connections, just when it comes to how we put 2 and 2 together, they always manifest, and we understand what it is. The white horse symbolizes purity, innocence, and sacrifice. Nipsey Hussle's death may have been seen as a sacrifice to Selene, with his spirit being taken to the afterlife to be with the goddess. The esoteric references suggest that Nipsey Hussle's death was not just a tragic event, but a ritualistic sacrifice to the moon goddess. That's what it was. We already covered bases just when it comes to leading up to his demise, the aspect of his association with Lauren London playing a role of Selene or Luna, LL Lauren London, and then you have the understanding of the white and what that symbolizes, as well as the horse, Epona being another composition of the moon goddess, as well as Rhiannon. They're all compositions of the same moon goddess archetype. And then you have the aspect of Nipsey Hussle's association with, the 60s and the numbers associated with that, as far as Eric Holder, when he turned 33, he got locked up and they gave him 60 years. But when he killed them, he was 29, and that also represented the number 66 for Molech. He turns 33, and that's a thinly veiled way of conveying the same number, or the theme that being the number 6. He gets 60 years. Nipsey Hussle gets shot 6 times. It's just crazy. He releases his album in 2018, which was 666, Victory Lap. Nipsey Hussle's name means victory. So all these things interconnected. As always, Nipsey Hussle was one who was meant to be sacrificed. He was also associated with the CIA. So he had a lot of knowledge, and he had, I guess you could say, one up on certain people in the industry just in regards to the understanding. But when it comes to him trying to own his own masters, him talking business, and him being independent, and from him being independent to signing to Atlantic, and that transition from there, you know, it was ready for him to meet his demise, because that was his debut album. After 10 years of being independent, he goes to Atlantic Records, drop his debut album. The album gets nominated for a Grammy, and then he gets killed. Either it was something that he wasn't willing to do, or it was meant for him to go in this time, based off of what he represented in regards to the understanding of his connection to the ancient mysteries, Nipsey Hussle. And he was a CIA asset. He definitely was.